Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajagacharya Stotra Sata Srimad Bhagvatam Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajagacharya Stotra Sata Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Prem Se Gaur Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Samaveta Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Grantharaj Srimad Bhagvatam Ki Nitai Gaura Premanande Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Reading from Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, Text 29. Janma guhyam bhagavato yayetat prayato nara sayam pratargrinam bhaktya dukkha grimad vimuchyate Janma guhyam bhagavato yayetat prayato nara shayam pratargrinam bhaktya dukkha grimad vimuchyate Janma guhyam bhagavato yayetat prayato nara sayam pratarginam bhaktya dukkha grimad vimuchyate Janma guhyam bhagavato yayetat prayato nara Janma guhyam bhagavato yayetat prayato nara Hayam Janma guhyam bhagavato yayetat prayato nara Sayam pratarginam bhaktya dukkha grimad vimuchyate Madhuji. Janma guhyam bhagavato yayetat prayato nara Sayam pratadaram bhaktya dukkha brahmad vimuchyate Janma guhyam bhagavato yayetat prayato nara Sayam pratarginam vimuchyate Janma guhyam bhagavato yayetat prayato nara Sayam pratadina bhaktya dukkha grama vimuchyate Word for word, Janma birth, Guhyam, mysterious, Bhagavata, of the Lord, Ya, one, Etat, all this, Prayata, carefully, Nara, man, Sayam, evening, Pratha, morning, Grinan, recites, Bhaktya, with devotion, Dukha Gramat, from all miseries, Vimuchyate, get relief of. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Whoever carefully recites the mysterious appearance of the Lord with devotion in the morning and in the evening gets relief from all miseries of life. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita, the personality of Godhead has declared that anyone who knows the principle of transcendental birth and activities of the Lord will go back to Godhead after being relieved from these material turbulences. Turbulent cow. So simply knowing factually the mysterious way of Lord incarnations in the material world, one can liberate one from the material bondage. Therefore, the birth and activities of the Lord as manifested by Him for the welfare of the people in general are not ordinary. They are mysterious, and only by those who carefully try to go deep into the matter of the spiritual devotion is the mystery discovered. Thus one gets liberation from the material bondage. It is advised, therefore, that one who simply recites this chapter of Bhagavatam, describing the appearance of the Lord in a different incarnation in sincerity and devotion, can have insight into the birth and activities of the Lord. The very word vimukti, or liberation, indicates that the Lord's birth and activities are all transcendental. Otherwise, simply by reciting them, one could not attain liberation. They are therefore mysterious, and those who do not follow the prescribed regulation of the devotional service are not entitled to enter into the mysteries of His birth and activities. Jai. Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuramilitam Vena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Sri Chaitanyam Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadanti Sa Padantikam Bandeham Sri Guru Sri Uttapadapakamlam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Lalita Sri Raghunatham Tam Savivam Savadaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Nitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagadpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastude Tapta Kanchanga Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Shute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpa tarubhasya kripa sindhu vaevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Adaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we've been reading Krishna's different incarnations, and so far the previous text describes like how all different incarnations, and then the Krishna is being the source of all incarnations. So we see like so many different incarnations, like Narada, Naranarayan, Kapila, Dattatreya, and Krishna comes as Kumaras, and so many different ways, like, it's described. And out of all this, like, Krishna being source of all incarnations. And then one of the class, like, as like people, mainly they know, like, Krishna's main 10 incarnations, but there, the verse after this describes, like, how Krishna has, like, so many different incarnations, just like the waves in the oceans, the, like, the incarnations are so many, and it, so it's like innumerable, just like the innumerable living entities. So it's so understanding this, like, it's very difficult for, like, general mass of the people. Some, in the beginning we see, like, how sometimes Lord comes from the, nose of Brahma, and then sometimes Lord appears from the seminal discharge, and Krishna, sometimes he appears in the jail, and then, like, with the full hand Narayan form, and when he takes birth, like, he is full with the jewels, and he has, like, full grown hair. So it is, like, so very transcendental, and it's very mystery actually. So Prabhupada describes, like, people are categorized in two categories. One is like empirical philosophers, and other ones are, like, the fruitic workers. For the people who are working in the, who are just desiring fruitic activities, for them they're, like, so engrossed, like, just to have the sense gratification all the time. And then for them to understand Krishna and his, like, mysteries and pastimes, it's so difficult, because they are, like, completely mad, one after another. The senses are pulling so much actually, like, eyes, looking for something good thing to see, ears, like, trying to hear some, mundane music, and then sense of, taste they're using for, like, taking the animals, and the sense of touch, just for the own sense gratification. So these senses are always active, and if you're not engaged in Krishna's service, then it will naturally be inclined to something material, something for sense gratification. So these fruitic workers, like, they are mad with the sense gratification, and they're not able to understand. So that's why the transcendental pastimes of Krishna, so it's very hard to understand. Even for the empirical philosophers, Prabhupada describes, like, it's so hard to understand. Because, and then in the beginning, like, people try to enjoy their sense, and the senses and sense gratification, and then they get frustrated over a period of time, and then, okay, there is a limit for that, I can't enjoy so much, so let me just, like, try to speculate, try to understand what's the reality, and then they try to understand the absolute truth in different ways, and then they see, like, and they come to the conclusion, like, the absolute truth is, like, nameless, formless, it doesn't have any pastimes and all that. So they come to that conclusion. So for them to understand that Krishna's pastimes is so difficult actually, and so that's why Prabhupada describes, from Bhagavad Gita, how janma karma chame divyam yavam yavi tatvada taktvadaham punarjanam naitimam iti sarjana, where one who knows these transcendental pastimes and activities doesn't have to take birth again. Because to understand that Krishna's birth and his activities are transcendental is difficult actually. Even for the devotees, we know as, like, theory, but to put in practice is, like, so difficult. That's why dealing with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, it becomes like, more impersonal most of the time, Sometimes, like, the altar is closed, and then people come, and then deities are sleeping, but we still talk actually. And we know that if someone is sleeping, it will be disturbing for the person. Krishna is sleeping, but we still talk, because, that impersonal aspect is still there, So to understand that reality, it's very hard actually for those fruitic workers and the empirical philosophers. And then even that's why Krishna says, like, this activity is only be known by, like, devotees who are performing devotional service. Only then, that transcendental activities is tuned into that. Because Krishna is adokshaja, like, he is transcendental. Transcendental means, like, who is beyond our sense perception, Our senses are very limited, as we know. like, where, our senses are tendency to be illusion, tendency to be cheated, senses are imperfect. And then with that limitation, we can't understand the absolute, we can't understand the transcendent part. So for that, like, only by devotion, only by, like, mercy of the spiritual master, only through the devotees who have understand those things, they can help us to understand those things actually. So with devotion, it's possible. With any other process, it's very hard to understand that aspect. So that's why it's difficult. One of the example I remember, when four Kumaras, they were trying to go to the Vaikuntha, and as they were going to Vaikuntha, the Jay and Vijay, they stopped, and they get angry and they curse the Jay Vijay. And after cursing Jay Vijay, like, as they were like talking, the conversation was happening between Jay and Vijay and four Kumaras. It so happens that Lord Vishnu, he came like, seeing all these activities, and then as they see his beautiful, like, feature, like, such amazing personality, so amazingly beautiful with his paraphernalia is coming towards them, they completely forget everything. And as he was approaching, they were like so bewildered, they can't do anything, just look, but look at, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And his beauty was so charming. And Lord Vishnu comes, and then he tells to four Kumaras, like, you are like, he praises like so much. You are the Brahmanas, your personification of good qualities, all dharma resides on you, and this and that. And he glorifies so much. And then these four Kumaras were like completely bewildered, they says like, they were like surprised that actually we curse, Jay and Vijay, Lord is glorifying us, but it's they don't know, like, whether it's like, he's actually trying to glorify them, or just like, something trying to, it's like sarcastically telling them, like, you did something wrong. And the one of the thing that comes out from that thing was like, Lord Vishnu says, like, actually you were saying that, you curse them, but everything is being ordained by me. So all the activities being controlled by me. I'm the planner who, plans everything. So seemingly it seems like, the people, whoever is performing activities, they are the doer, but Supreme Personality of Godhead controls, everything. So as a result, like, they come as a, like, demon Hiranyakasipu and followed by other demons. So that's the pastime, where one follows. For ordinary people, like, sometimes, Lord takes birth from the nose. And sometimes it's very bewildering for them, because how can the Supreme Personality of Godhead can take birth, like from nose, and he comes as a half man, half lion. Sometimes he comes as the boar incarnation. Sometimes he comes as a feast, and sometimes he comes in a different forms, like sometimes humanly form, sometimes a different form, and it's very hard to understand. But that aspect is not able to be understood by those, fruity workers, because people are covered with the sense gratification, and the empirical philosophers who are trying to understand just with their mind itself. But Krishna is understood only through the devotion. So that's why it's described here. Yeah, so Prabhupada writes that, when illusory energy subsides, the living entity becomes fully enriched with the knowledge by the grace of the Lord. Then he becomes at once enlightened with the self-realization, and thus becomes situated with his own glory. So that Supreme Lord, he favors himself, he sometimes by himself, sometimes through the devotees, and sometimes through the scriptures. And then it is manifested through the understanding of, devotees. So And so the devotees, they see like, Supreme Lord is unborn, transcendental, and all his activities are completely beyond this material sense gratification and then sense perception. And so understanding that, they find it so much faith and so much of transcendent on his activities. But for the mundane people, it's very hard to understand that aspect. That's why it's, the Prabhupada is describing that only person, those who are render unreserved, uninterrupted, favorable service unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who carries the wheel of chariot in his hand, can know the creator of the universe in his full glory and full of transcendence. So that has to come, like, we see that verse like Sabai Pumsa Paro Dharma Yado Bhakti Adokshade Ahitoki Apriyata Yatma Suprishati. The loving devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead should be like, unmotivated and uninterrupted. Only by that, one can be completely satisfied actually. So that's the conclusion. So whoever performs uninterrupted, unmotivated, loving devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he can channelize, he can understand the Supreme Personality of God. That's way. Other way of understanding, it's not possible. That's why whoever recites these transcendental pastimes, whoever recites, hears these pastimes of Lord, morning, evening, he gets relief from all miseries of life. So because when we understand that Krishna is the controller and he controls everything, everything is dependent on him, and we are not the controller, and he is the master of everything, and then we are his servant. That understanding, that aspect, it frees us from the concept that we can control everything, because all the distress, attachment comes then, when we think that we are the controller. Because when we perform some task and we try to fulfill that task, and the attachment comes with that, and then you try to fulfill, but it never accomplishes, then the frustration comes. But we do our activities, but understand that Krishna is the source of everything, he is the controller of everything, and he is the master of everything. Keeping that understanding in the center of that, then it becomes very easy to transcend all these activities. So with that note, I'd like to end here. Is there any comments or questions? Okay. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagvatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Gaur Premanande.